Here we are. To thank you to my Wealthcast, the first of 2023, and I just wanted to talk about something that actually probably has the biggest impact on the quality of your life going into 2023 and beyond. And I want to share that with you. So when I think of a new year, I think about goal setting. And we were going to do this wealthcast on goal setting, and then I recognized that there's something far more important than setting goals and failing on the setting of goals. For me, every year it's lose 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds, lose 20 pounds. And I think the compelling cascading effect of that, for whatever reason, doesn't happen. Although I am a very good goal setter. And I generally am a good goal person to check off the list. And that is something that we usually spend time at the end of the year doing and at the end of each year, making sure that we've accomplished them. But this one is so very, very important. And it's something that, we think about is love. And when we love someone else, we generally know that that love is expressed more so by a feeling. And how do we identify that feeling? And that feeling is actually demonstrated by an action. So when someone loves us, they do an action that demonstrates their love. And that's how we define love in our relationships. But what's awkward and what oftentimes we don't spend time about is how do we love ourselves? If we're waiting for that feeling based on an action, what actions do we need to do so that we feel our own self love, that we respect ourselves, that we take time to do the things that are important to us, to nurture us, to make sure that we're doing all the things to pamper and nurture and self care? So, this Wealthcast is actually one thing that you can do that will actually make a difference. And it's really, really important. It's one habit that researchers say has the biggest overall impact on the quality of your life. And it's the habit of learning how to be kind and loving to yourself. Now, we know we need to love ourselves, but no one really has taught us how. So until now, so let's go forward. So this is something from the benefit of Mel Robbins. And I don't know if any of you have listened to her podcast. She's crazy, wild, fun. But she's the one that shared with the one way to start loving yourself is a simple, simple habit, and you do it first thing in the morning after you brush your teeth and after your morning routine. And it's basically high fiving yourself in the mirror. Yep, truly, that's it. It's high fiving yourself in that mirror after you brush your teeth first thing in the morning. And you want to do it after you brush your teeth because you brush your teeth every morning. It's a habit. So to then just go high five. But here's the key, you have to look yourself in the eye and actually see yourself, not past yourself, see yourself. And the reason that's hard to do, I mean, the high five is actually relatively easy, but it's hard to look yourself in the eye because, at least for me anyway, I'm saying, who is that fat girl on the other side of the mirror? Or I'm saying, gosh, I look so haggard. And it's hard to not judge myself when I look in the mirror and see my eyes and just say high five. So there are studies that say that 50% of the population cannot look at themselves in the mirror. Can you believe that? 50% of the population do not see themselves in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, as I said, it's easy to look past yourself. So think about this. When you love someone, what do? You look them in the eyes. It's an act of love. So if you can't do that to yourself, you're demonstrating every morning rejection and criticism of who you are. So when you're ready, after seeing yourself in the mirror, you do the high five. It may be weird and silly the first time you do this. And the second time, possibly you may even cry. Because when you finally take the time to look at who are you, um, you tend to recognize that you may not like who that person is, or you may be disappointed in that person, or you may just have never looked that person ever to know who she or he is. So, Dr. Late Lawrence Katz, previously at Duke University, he's a neurobiologist in the science of neurobics, demonstrates the activities like this, the high five, are the fastest way to create new thought patterns. In neurobic exercise, he has 3 steps. And the first step is to create a routine or activity, which is why I said brushing after your teeth. Remember, transformation occurs from repetition. And number 2 is make something unexpected that involves the sensories. So that's lifting up the hand, looking in the eyes. And the third is to tie the emotion you would like to feel. The high five represents encouragement. I think of when I played basketball and softball, but particularly basketball when you're on the court and there's 5 of you, you're continually doing high fives, you're patting the person on the butt, you're actually after the free throw. There's always activity of saying, I support you, I'm with you, even when they miss the free throw. But it's something that says we're all in this together, or good job, or I believe in you, or I love you. So the habit is to accept and love yourself. This puts your brain on alert and fuses emotions of celebration, acceptance, and love, plus the release of dopamine. Who doesn't want dopamine? I know this may sound weird, but stick with me on this. Researchers at Berkeley and Yale, using the National Basketball Association, the NBA, as their statistical source, discovered habits of the top 4 winning teams had one thing in common than any of the other teams. Guess what that was? They actually high fived and fist bumped each other more than any other NBA team. So, what does that say? I'm with you. I trust you, which is what I already talked about before. This is important to understand when, or someone you care about, needs support. The data actually suggests that words of encouragement may not be the first thing that they need. Researchers reported that by giving them a high five, believe it or not, they literally felt better about themselves. This has shocking impact on your brain and how you see yourself. So the point here is that you need the same encouragement from yourself, not out there, not from anyone else, not from your mate. Only you can give that to yourself. So, my mentor, Jack Canfield, many of you may know, I talk about him a lot, but he reminds us that we're 100% responsible for the outcomes in our life. So, events happen all the time. We have reactions to those events, that's our choices, which give us our outcomes. So, we have a choice on how we respond to those events. Recognize that everything comes back to us, to you, your relationship that you have with yourself. This is the single most important relationship you'll ever have. So if you don't have it with yourself, that means you spent your whole life alone or trying to seek it from someone else. So the simple assignment is look at yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and once you see yourself, give yourself a high five. And I would suggest that you do that for 5 straight days, as Mel Robbins suggested, and see what happens. I know some of you may be thinking, NFW, dumbest idea ever. Give it a try. After trying it out, the high five was easy, for me particularly. The high five is the easy part. It's the looking in the eyes and confronting the things that you may or may not have done in your life. So take time to see what you feel when you do that. You have an incredible life to live, and it starts with loving yourself. You may feel alone when standing in front of that mirror. Trust me, judgments, failures, you know, all of the things that we have, even shame. But as they come up, just allow them to snowplow through. Just allow them to wash upon you and release. The moment you can see the human being in the mirror, the one person you need in your court, is the beginning of the growth in your self love. One decision away from the way to treat yourself. Just one decision away from the way to treat yourself. Do the high five. And remember, it's the person in the mirror who's doing the work, no one else. I believe in you. I know you're worth it. Thank you. Please share this with someone that you think would really benefit from this message.